So we got a situation. We got a situation. I don't know. Just read the room. That's maybe what some people need to do these days. Just read the room. All these school shootings, different things going on and happening. And here you go, a mom getting arrested after posing as a 13-year-old at a school. You got to read the room. It's just simple as that. Let's get to it.
Do I look like a seventh grader? Oh my goodness. I am gonna get so caught. I'm actually really scared now. I am literally on the campgrounds of a middle school. Well, I finally got caught. I told him that I would go to the principal's office, so I guess we're gonna see what happens.
Did you guys see the video?
No, I haven't seen the video, man.
I posed as a seventh grader. It went viral.
In this shocking footage,
It went viral, but guess what you got as a little parting gift? A record. You got a record now that you got to explain. I hope that going viral moment was worth it, bro. Like, I don't understand some of y'all.
As a seventh grader, it went viral.
in this shocking footage, a mother spends an entire day posing as her 13-year-old daughter at a middle school in El Paso County, Texas. Her controversial video would ultimately become a social media success, amassing over millions of views. In an exclusive interview with Iwu, we will get to hear from the mother herself, who will give her side of the story that baffled the nation.
Oh my God, I cannot get it out. I'm so sorry. Please bear with me, because every single day, you don't know. You just don't know.
On Tuesday, June 1st, 2021, 30-year-old Casey Garcia makes her way to Ann Garcia Enriquez Middle School, only she's disguised as her 7th grade daughter, Julie Garcia.
Okay, I'll record once I'm inside. Do I look like a 7th grader? Okay, and hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Finding yourself?
Great.
What kid, what 13-year-old, finding yourself? You're even talking like an adult. Your responses are adultish. Like, what do you mean? No. And I can't even tell how you built, but you probably built like an adult, not a 13-year-old. And you woke up and just decided to do this? Some of y'all need a hobby.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Finding yourself?
Great.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. I am gonna get so caught. I'm actually really scared now. I am literally on the campgrounds of a middle school.
Using hair dye and self-tanner, Casey has made herself look as identical as possible to her 13-year-old daughter. Now inside of the school, she asks a faculty member for directions to one of the classrooms, still undercover as a student.
What's going to be the, I believe the third question to your left.
Okay, thank you so much. With all the music, that's what they told me. Thank you so much. The coach literally came up to me and was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Julie." And he was like, "Oh my God, Julie. Holy I'm in PE."
But a 30-year-old disguising as a 13-year-old and made it through lunch? I've made it more than half a day.
The mother boldly reveals her face as she sits in the school's cafeteria. Still, she's yet to be discovered. However, just when Casey thought she would make it until the end of the day, her cover is eventually blown.
Well, I finally got caught. I told him that I would go to the principal's office, so I guess we're gonna see what happens.
Just want to say thank you to all the girls that helped me get to all of my classes yesterday. I really, really appreciate it. I honestly would have been discovered way sooner if it weren't for you. And if you knew my secret and you kept it for me, thank you so much for not saying anything. I honestly could have not made it the entire day as a middle school student without you.
Soon we will find out.
Maybe I want to hear what she hoped to accomplish. Maybe she was trying to show how easy it is to infiltrate or get inside the school posed as someone else, show how much of a security, how lax the security is and different things like that. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what it was. You know what I mean? But you probably should have spoke to the principal or the police and let them know, okay, this is what I'm trying to do. Can we set this up? And they probably would have worked with you. And you could have still got your viral moment.
Not made it the entire day as a middle school student without you.
Soon we will find out exactly how Casey's true identity was uncovered, along with the many shocking details of an already insane day. As for now, the mother personally shed some light into her thought process, leading up to the unbelievable chain of events.
So the leading up to it, I feel, was at the time, my 4-year-old was about to start kindergarten, and I couldn't comprehend the anxiety that I was feeling for the fact that here I am, mandated by law, that I have to send my child to school. Yes, I can homeschool, but this goes in a general perspective. Not only do I want to, not this to happen. I don't want this to happen just to any school, any town. Generally speaking, why does any mother have to feel any type of anxiety for sending their kid off to school with the massive amounts of incidents that have happened and are happening? How am I supposed to tell my 5-year-old and my 3-year-old if somebody comes in with a gun in your classroom? You have to hide. My teenager can. I mean, my daughter is 16. She's in high school. I know for a fact she can do it. She can hide. She can get to safety. She's going to know. She's now 6. My 6-year-old and my 3-year-old all they're going to be thinking is, what is going on? And they're going to be terrified for their life. Not that my 16-year-old wouldn't be terrified for her life, but she is going to more or less figure it out, and she's going to try her best. Why do my kids have to compromise their safety because America can't get their together? Why? Why are...
All valid. All valid. All valid concerns, feelings, all valid. All we're saying is you went about it wrong. That's it. You went about it wrong. If you'd have did this with the police, or you'd have did this with the principal and set it up, this would have been dope to see, because this would have been an experiment a lot of us would have wanted to see. And we would have probably encouraged you to go to more and more schools until it was found out and they prepared for you at that point in time. But in the beginning, I would have definitely wanted to see this, because I feel like they're too lax with the security around the schools.
Why do my kids have to compromise their safety because America can't get their together? Why? Why are we sending so much money to God knows where? I don't know where. But yet my kids may or may not have a locked door because someone didn't want to lock it. Because this guy just felt like, you know what, I'm going to shoot up a school today because he felt like it.
Although Casey voices concern for her children's safety, others believe that her motive behind the so-called social experiment is something much different. One such person is middle school principal Richard Salcido, who detectives spoke with only 3 days following the bizarre ordeal.
So our system to enter the building is to enter through the old gym, do their temperature check, sign in. She signed in as her daughter and her daughter's ID.
Have you ever had anybody try to pose as a student that's not a student, other than this incident?
No.
Can you talk to us a little bit about what happened when she came in?
Yeah, so she came in and I asked her, what's going on? Why'd you do this? And she said it was just to see how secure the schools are, to see how secure her daughter is. And she said, if there's a fine, I'm willing to pay the fine. I'm like, well, I need to talk to my bosses to see if they're going to press charges. But I think it's going to be more than just a fine. I did tell her, I was like, well, thank you for bringing it to our attention, because, if it is a safety issue, I do need to address it with our staff. So that's something that...
In regards to the safety issue that she's claiming, she sent you guys an email, text message, phone call, meeting with you or any other administrator to address lack of security or any kind of allegation that she was making?
I honestly don't think it was a test to do security. It's just, looking at her TikTok videos, it's like she trying to get, because she's got other videos that I'm like, okay, I think it's almost attention seeking. If she was vigilant about the security, I think, have a conversation with me, have a conversation with the superintendent.
But that never happened prior, correct?
That never happened.
As it turns out, Casey has her own
So he said the same thing. He said the same thing. Now, if you felt like they was going to prepare for you, then you could have said that in your video and different things like that, and still would have got your point across that they only did this because I spoke to them. You know, he probably alerted them, right? Or start asking your daughter to walk around the school and maybe film something with her phone in her spare time around the school and check the security. Like, there's other ways.
Reasoning as to why she didn't talk to an administrator about her concerns.
It wasn't at this specific school. At another school, they were practicing a lockdown drill. My daughter and I just happened to be late that day, so I didn't know it was a random lockdown drill because they have them randomized. And this particular day, they were doing a lockdown drill. And I believe my daughter and I were, I want to say, 30 minutes to an hour late. You know, we walked in through the normal door that you walk in through to go into school. And then the principal comes around the corner, and this principal says, "How did you get in the building?" And I said, "We walked through that door." And this principal's face was so irritated with the person who was supposed to lock the door that didn't lock the door during a lockdown. I sat there and I was completely mind-boggled at the fact that it's a practice lockdown drill and we can't even get that door locked. So no, my voice has never been heard. What's the point? They're just going to tell me, well, we practice lockdown drills.
Just 2 days following the incident, Casey posts another video to her YouTube channel. This time, she gives a deeper explanation to her motive, stating exactly why she posed as her 13-year-old child.
The news station in El Paso, KT, whatever, I don't watch the news. She commented, they're making it look really bad. Like, I just wanted to go to middle school for and giggles. And I'm going to be 100% myself because now my integrity is being put on the line, which is fine. I don't care what you think, but I'm going to tell you my side of the story. I didn't do this to get views. I didn't do this to get likes. I didn't do this so people could be mad at me and I could never walk around El Paso again. Which honestly, you guys are... I wanted to go as Julie. I wasn't going as my daughter. I wasn't trying to go to impersonating another child. I wasn't trying to be someone else. I was trying to be my kid and my kid only. The school was so concerned that my phone was out that they weren't even paying attention to who I was. They never interacted with me. It was always, "Hey, put your phone away. Hey, put your phone away." I wasn't even a person. I was just, "Hey, put your phone away." Every single teacher of my daughters is very, very, very nice. They're all, and I feel bad that it had to be this school, but this is a problem in all schools. We need better security at our schools. I don't mean to be curt, but I kind of feel like I proved it.
Although Casey's disguise.
All right, y'all. It has to be said. I hate to be the one to kind of ask this question, but it needs to be said. You know? What if I did that? Or any other male did that? How would it have been received? Be honest. Be completely and bluntly honest. If a male did that, 40 years old, amongst some 13-year-olds, how would that have looked? How would that have been received? How would, once they figured out who he was, would that have been handled? And at the end of that, I say rightfully so, right? Had to pose that, because as I'm sitting here thinking that, I'm trying to put myself in her shoes, and I'm saying, if I would have done that, y'all would have been, it would have been a bad scene as to what they would have done.
It's lasted her almost 7 periods. One teacher could see right through the mask.
I mean, I'm no spring chicken, but it wasn't hard. And I made it to all 7 periods until the last teacher, she was female, and she said, "Julie, can you stay after class?" And I said, "Absolutely." And she looked at me and she's like, "You're not Julie." I was like, "No, I'm not." I took off my mask, I took off my glasses, and I said, "No, I'm not Julie. I'm Julie's mom." And she said, "Why?" I think she was really mind boggled. Like, she had no idea what the hell just happened. And I said, for a social experiment. I wanted to see if I could make it the entire day without anybody noticing. And I'd say up until 7th period, I think that's a very long day for a 30-year-old.
Casey initially held to her disguise, stating that she was in fact Julie, but the teacher didn't believe her. Finally, Casey gave in.
There have been one too many mass shootings. I think I read or Googled that there have been 40 or 44. I didn't do this to be mean or malicious or to rattle anybody's cages. I did this to prove a point.
Casey's video will go on to elicit strong feelings from viewers on every part of the spectrum, and she makes it clear that her intention is to speak candidly.
Would you have rather me proving a point sitting there quietly with my mask? Or do we really want to wait for the next person taking their Second Amendment right to the extreme? Thank you so much for supporting me. I will, I guess, see you in the next viral video.
Though Casey provided her defense, Principal Salcido views it more as a violation rather than a call for action.
There's a concern because she was in the girls' restroom, so there could be a violation. I mean, we do have young ladies here on campus, and we don't let adults go in the same restroom as the students.
And in reverse, just to that, she, went into the restroom. How do you feel about that, sir? As an administrator, and I don't know if you're a parent or not, but how do you feel about that?
As a parent, I'd be upset. Now parents are losing trust in us, so it's just more of a, not just a safety issue. Now we have, a trust issue with our parents. Or my kid's safe to go on campus. So we've had a lot of phone calls on that.
Supposedly, a few of Julie's friends aided Casey in locating some of her classes. However, before they could, the mother had almost blown her cover.
And then she went towards where my lunch lady is and she asked her, would you like breakfast? And she said yes, so she got her breakfast and then she took off. But she didn't know, she was confused. She didn't know where to go. So one of the teachers guided her. She doesn't know who it was, but they guided her to her classroom or where she went. It's hard to distinguish a student because they all look very advanced. Their body, their beards on the guys, and it's very hard to distinguish a student. And that lady looks younger than the daughter, actually.
This faculty member states that many of the kids wear hoodies to school, such as Casey had on, making it difficult to identify the students. Yet, according to police documents, other teachers did notice that Casey's mannerisms were a bit different than that of her daughters, such as her rate of speech. Another teacher noted that the student looked off. By the end of the day, their suspicions would be confirmed. And Casey's plan wouldn't go unpunished. On June 4th, only 3 days after the shocking ordeal, officers make their way to Casey's home. However, it's almost as if the mother is waiting for authorities. With her phone in hand, she too is recording her interaction with police, which can also be found on her YouTube channel.
We're here because we're going to place you under arrest, ma'am. Okay. You do have a traffic warrant with us, ma'am? Yes, ma'am. So you're going to be placed on the arrest for traffic warrant, okay, ma'am? So,
that's it?
Excuse me?
That's the only thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, ma'am.
My suegra's coming.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not resisting.
No,
I am here. And now the superintendent's pissed because I said that I said I wasn't going to go back on school grounds, so he figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
He got his ego destroyed.
According to Casey, she and the superintendent of the San Elizario Independent School District had a brief altercation following June 1st. As we will soon hear from the mother herself, she has yet to release any detail of the alleged incident. That is, until now.
You're gonna cuff me?
Excuse me? Unfortunately, yeah.
Like this?
I could put you on front.
Oh man, that was like my flex. I've never been to jail.
13-year-old Julie quickly makes an appearance at the home, where Casey immediately hands her daughter the phone that is assumably still recording.
Searching for the victim. She's with the I don't know how to get back on TikTok. I locked myself out. Try to get back in. I don't know how to get back in.
If you want to, I don't know.
Can I post my own bail? Is that
Can you push
is that a thing?
Yes, she can.
I can?
You can take your wallet with you, ma'am.
I'm not gonna take the wallet.
Yeah, I would just take your credit card or whatever you have on you.
Your ID.
And you have your ID.
All right, I'm wearing it now. I talk a lot.
Within minutes, Casey was arrested and placed inside of the police vehicle. She was taken to the El Paso County Jail on charges of criminal trespassing and tampering with a government record. After paying her own bond, she was released later that day. However, despite her arrest, she would continue to voice her concerns even more than 2 years later, as she recalls that day.
That day,
I know she's saying that it's not to go viral, but it's hard to not think that's the case. With what some of the things we're seeing, you know, and the demeanor and the response to it, and just some of the things she's saying and doing, it just seems like it. Now, I don't know what her intentions was, just optically, it just looks like it was for a viral moment. And it could have been mixed with that, plus the fact that she felt that way about the school safety and everything that's been going on. You know, it's hard for us not to look at it and think that with what we're seeing, basically.
Concerns even more than 2 years later, as she recalls that day.
That day that it happened, I went to the principal's office, unescorted to the principal's office. Again, able to walk through the halls freely. The principal had said to me, and which I have in an unseen video, he says that he had asked the superintendent for IDs, picture IDs, and the superintendent's response to that was, no, we're not going to do that. And they didn't. So the only thing that has changed as far as my incident was the IDs.
According to Casey, her daughter's middle school didn't administer photo identification for the students at the time, though it's unclear if they've recently been implemented. Casey mentions that one of the district's high schools may have issued photo IDs to their students. Casey asserts that this is the only change of security that she's seen within the district, but Casey has one more bombshell to drop. She recalls her conversation with Principal Salcido. However, she goes on to reveal alleged details that have never been released to the public before.
So then I asked him, I keep telling him, we need this, we need no backpacks. I mentioned the no backpacks. He said, I agree. He said, he then said to me, I am very sorry that this was able to happen. He apologized to me repeatedly. And then I asked him, are you going to arrest me? And he said, no, I'm not going to arrest you, which I also have on video, unseen video. I said, okay, thank you so much. He said, all right, we're going to do better. And then I left. 2 days later, I get a phone call from the school, from a secretary, and she says, Mrs. Garcia. And I said, yes. She says, I'm calling to confirm your appointment tomorrow. And I said, I'm sorry, appointment? She says, yes, your appointment tomorrow with, and then she says the superintendent's name. I never heard his name before. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't even know who that is. Who is that? She goes, the superintendent. And I said, I didn't set up an appointment. I said, I'm really sorry. You might have the wrong Garcia. It's a fairly common name here. She says, you know what? You're right. I probably do. She hung up, called me back. She goes, Mrs. Garcia. And she says, I said, yes. She says, you set up this appointment. And I said, no, ma'am, I didn't.
Casey adamantly denied ever having set an appointment, but the secretary reportedly pressed on, trying to convince the mother that it was of her own doing, and Casey grew all the more suspicious.
And I said, I didn't set up any appointment. I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, let me place you on hold. Let me ask the superintendent. She asks the superintendent. She comes back. She says, yes, you set this appointment up. She then hangs up, calls me back. Then she changes the story. And poor thing, I really do think that she was also in the dark about this. Mm-hmm. Then she said, actually, the superintendent would like to speak with you. And now my alarm bells are just going off. And I'm thinking, why? It's been 2 days and you didn't call me or no. So then I said, well, can you ask him about what? So then she says, yes, let me place you on a hold. I said, okay. And then she comes back and he says, you know what he wants to talk about. Then I'm thinking, oh, I don't think so. I said, well, since you keep, placing me on hold, he's clearly available. Why doesn't he just speak with me now since he's so eager to speak with me? And she says, okay, let me ask him. She comes back and she says, no, he wants you on campus tomorrow. And I said, tell him I'm not going back on campus. And I said, please stop calling me. And I hung up. The next day, 9:30, I was arrested. But one of the officers, I believe he was and is a detective, he told the judge and on a written affidavit that I was escorted off the property, and I wasn't. And I was never asked to leave. And that's my side of the story.
Though her social experiment garnered national controversy, it seems that the mother has no regrets. To this day, Casey maintains that her motive behind going undercover was out of concern for her children's safety. In November of 2023, Casey Garcia stood trial and was found guilty of criminal trespass. She was sentenced to 6 months of probation and given a prorated fine of $700. In addition, she's required to complete 100 hours of community service. Casey's YouTube channel and TikTok account are currently still active.
Hey, again, great idea, great experiment. Like, even the things that happened and transpired afterwards, what she showed, all of that good information, good intel, you know? And I feel like they do need spot checks. And it doesn't need to be them that do the spot checks. I feel like there should be, and this may be a business that could be funded for somebody to do and open up, where they go around to schools and spot check and do different things randomly to protect the security of the children, and can be funded by the government or something like that. You know, it's just her execution of not getting somebody else involved to protect her from being arrested for doing so. That way it couldn't be flipped on her. But everything she did, like, it's good. It was very good. Very good. She might have exposed some things. Definitely probably did that. Now, was her intention totally that? We don't know. We can only speculate and guess, you know, based on what we see. But we've been saying this. Something needs to happen with all these school incidences that have taken place and continue to take place. Something needs to happen. Something needs to happen. Something needs to happen. And she took it upon herself. I just wish she would have protected herself. That's all. That's it. You know what I mean? But y'all let me know what you think. And y'all be safe though. So, what we talking about today? Well, today we gonna talk about Spotify. Spotify. Who uses Spotify still? Y'all still use Spotify? I'm more of I use like YouTube music more so these days. Some of y'all may use Apple Music. Whatever it is. They're all pretty much the same at this point. You know what I mean? Except unless you pay for it and you don't have the ads and different things like that. But they're pretty much all the same, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But the company, if you're not familiar, I always like to start off and try to read the information that's provided here on TradingView's platform. It says Spotify technology engages in the provision of digital music service. It operates through the premium and ad-supported segments. The premium segment provides subscribers with online and offline streaming access of music and podcasts. Very important if you're an avid podcast listener. On computers, tablets, and mobile devices. The ad-supported segment offers users with limited on-demand online access of music and unlimited online access of podcasts on computers, tablets, and mobile and smart devices. The company was founded on December 27th of 2006. So Spotify been around that long? That's crazy. I didn't know it was around that long. But yes. So a few months back, I'll tell you how I missed out on this play, right? If you look at the trend for Spotify, well, that bad boy been on a run, ain't it? You can see it, right? That bad boy been on a run. Your boy Spotify been on a run since about 2022, right? It's been on a run. So right up in here, and I'm gonna use the replay tool. Where was it? Right about here. So right about here, I was like, ooh. I think that's literally what I said to myself. Ooh. This may be an opportunity for me to get into Spotify and take it up. Right? So I was like, all right, cool. So, mind you, I'm watching it, and I can't remember what time frame I was watching it on or whatever. But we'll look at the hourly and the 4 hour, and we'll go forward. Let me move it up so I make sure y'all can see it. But it opened up the month, and it just started going crazy. See the candles? See the candle sizes? Look at the candle size, just everywhere, everywhere. It kind of spooked me. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. It run up, then it shoot back down. Then it run up, and then it gap back down. See that huge gap in price right there? Yeah, it was making you boy a little bit nervous. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? So it kind of shook me off of my thesis. It shook me off of my conviction into getting a position and holding on to it, right? And this is what comes with, you have to get comfortable in your you have to get comfortable in your setup. You have to get comfortable in your analysis, and you have to have conviction in your analysis and your thesis to make sure that you stand firm, 10 toes on the ground in your beliefs and live with the results. Because majority of the time, what was always told to me was that you'll stop yourself out of a position before the market does. Meaning you'll hop out of a position and second guess yourself, and it'll end up going your way probably more often than not, if you have a good setup. You know what I mean? Again, not financial advice, but this is exactly what happened to me. And let's go to the 4 hour, see if I can make it a little cleaner for us. It was coming down. It was coming down, and then it ran up. Let me see. So when it ran up and came back down, I was too nervous to get in it. Even though my conviction was there, even though my analysis said where it was going, even though everything that I do pointed to it going in that direction, I still was like, nope. And you know what happened? I got left by the school bus, bro. I got left by the school bus, and I had to sit and watch it go where I wanted it to go. Spotify, ticker symbol SPOT. Let's go look at the monthly. Look at there. Now, mind you, I just made this candle appear through the replay button because I had took it away. Let me show you again. I had taken it away, and I was just doing it from a lower time frame. But basically what you saw me doing from a lower time frame was seeing it. See that? And then it did that. And then it was like it kept staying down there, and then it all of a sudden it jumped up, and then it took off. Boy, was I hurt. Boy, was my feelings hurt. I'm telling you this because don't feel bad when it happens to you. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You're not going to avoid it. It's going to happen to you. It happened to me. It's going to happen to you. So what I'm trying to do is prepare you, embrace you for it so that it's not foreign when it happens. You're not blindsided when it happens to you. Just say it happens. It happens to the best of us. It is what it is. On to the next one. There's another bus coming around to pick us up. All right. It just may be a different company. So it's a different bus. Different bus. We just got to go find it. Right. And that's literally what you're doing in this market. You're going around and finding some money that's buried somewhere. It's buried in these companies, and you got to find it. And when you find it, you're rewarded. So you go on a scavenger hunt through the companies, you find it, you're rewarded. And this was one that I had found. I had conviction. My setup was looking good. I I had the knife, I had the fork, I had the spoon, I was ready the table was set. And I ain't put the food on my plate. So I can eat. Sure didn't. And I watched my meal take off. I did, man. I did. And Spotify is a good company, man. Good company. It's a mover. You know what I mean? Like return on investment, ROI, all these different things were great about the company. So when it got ready to move, it moved. It moved. You know? But that's another one to add to your watch list, man. Watch Spotify. Pay attention to it. You know what I mean? Why not invest in something that you might have used in the past and familiar with? You know what I'm saying? Or using now. And be like, hey, I'm paying this subscription. Let me get some of that money back. You know what I mean? Let me get some of that money back that I'm paying out. Like a lot of these companies y'all are familiar with, bro. Like if I go down my list right now, Tesla. A lot of y'all have heard of Tesla. Crocs. Yeah, like the Crocs you put on your feet that a lot of people wear. It's on my watch list. Amazon. Right? What is that? Ferrari. Familiar with that, right? Lululemon. Familiar with that, right? Eli Lilly. Microsoft. You know what I mean? Nvidia. Oh, we're going to get to that bad boy soon enough. I got y'all. Ulta. Spotify. Like, it's a lot of companies that you're familiar with. So when you take that into consideration, you're like, okay, these are the things I know about. That's why I say women, oh my God, ladies, y'all should be great at this. Because a lot of these companies you deal with, you know, when a company ain't doing good, when you go in a store, it ain't seeing too much. Your stuff is just constantly sitting on the shelves. The same stuff that you saw the last time you was in there is still in there, collecting dust. You know if a company's moving or you know if a company about to get ready to go out of business. It's the same thing here. Just translate that thinking. Translate that thinking. That's all I'm going to say. Spotify is another one for y'all to pay attention to. And I'm gone. I love this game.